Some days I would absolutely love to go drive that 720 all day long, but I can't. And the reason I can't is I still have to make enough money to pay for the 720. And as a business owner, it's not even just what it is I have that I need to pay for. It's my employees and their lives and their families that I'm also making sure I put enough effort in to support them as well. For me to ensure that my business is constantly competitive and able to compete with the very large multi-billion-dollar hedge funds that own most of my competition, is I have to make sure that I play to my strength and I'm constantly growing and evolving to stay ahead of the game. And my biggest strength, being small versus a large corporation like them, is our ability to quickly adapt and change. We don't have a board. We don't have investors. We don't have this hierarchy of management that has to pass through lines to make a decision, to get a vote, say yes, go ahead and do it. It was me and my wife, 2 people. That's all that's required to make a decision. It takes us minutes to do something that could take them months, if not years. So that's our biggest strength. The growing part is something that has taken me a really long time to figure out how exactly it is I motivate myself. And in the last video, I went over how I motivate myself. There's also something that comes along creating those motivational things for me: ready, willing, and able. And what I mean by that is at any point in my life where I've made a huge push in education, in motivation, growth as a person, and in the business, required all 3 of those to line up. The weird thing is you might not always have all 3 lined up, but it really requires all 3 to really see the big growth step. An important thing that I've learned is you don't have to always be ready, willing, and able. And the thing I've learned is even when you're not all 3 ready, willing, and able, you could be able but not ready or willing. And that's kind of like my real estate investing went that way. I was able to in the fact that I had the money, but I wasn't ready in knowledge, and I wasn't willing yet to put the time and effort in to learn to how to get ready. I took a baby step, or dipped my toe in the water before just jumping in, and I found a way to where I could be the bank versus owning the property, renting the property, and dealing with all the ups and downs and headaches and stuff that come with that without knowing or having a plan on how to deal with. So I gave money to a friend to invest in real estate, and then I in turn get just a monthly check from that money, and there's no risk, but there's a lower reward. I became willing, after learning a little more, to try out owning the place and filling it and finding the way that worked for me. So I bought one cheap property in Pennsylvania and went through the ups and downs and learning curve of figuring out what worked best for me without causing my normal day-to-day business to suffer by taking my time. And once I got that, I added 2 more and made sure that the system I've developed works. And now that I see that it does, I'm now ready, willing, and able to go full into being a real estate investor. What does that mean? Well, it means I'm now going to have to pull the money out that I got invested with my friend in his real estate deals to invest in my own real estate deals. I get the higher rewards and the extra benefits that come along with the ready, willing, and able part of this journey in my investing. It goes along personal and just being a business owner or an employee. You have to really think about it in those ways. Some of the best things that have ever happened to me as a business owner were when I could pair those 3 things together: being ready, willing, and able to fuel the growth of my business into new areas or expand in the areas I was already in. Couldn't just jump in without the knowledge I needed, or I couldn't jump in even though I knew the information and I had the skill set, the ability to do the thing. I wasn't ready or willing in some instances because I wasn't ready by knowing what it was I needed to know in that growth area. I'll give you an example. Way back in the day, I was just a guy in a truck that drove around and made keys for you when you lost your keys. An opportunity came along to where an auction wanted us to work with them on a larger scale across multiple states. We were ready and willing, but we didn't have the ability to do it yet. We had to figure out how to make the ability, the skill set to do it work. And that came with the willingness to learn and make mistakes, and we were willing to put our money up to cover up for those mistakes till we developed a system to where we were able to consistently and competently do that job on a regular basis, and that made it ready, willing, and able to do the job. And so in your personal life, it's going to be a little different, but for me, it's knowledge is always the willingness. I need to learn the thing that I'm struggling with in my life. It doesn't matter if it's how to be a better spouse or a better dad, or just how to take care of myself better as I get older, or any of those things, like how to budget my time, any of that. Usually my hiccup is the willingness to learn, because there's a lot of things that I'm able to do and I would like to do. I'm just not willing to put the time and effort in that's needed, because it takes, anytime you put that willingness to learn, it takes time from something else. And a lot of times I have decided, usually in the wrong, that those things weren't as valuable for my time as something else. So I didn't put the three together. So there was a little growth here and there, because I had the ability to do it. I was ready to do it. I just wasn't willing to learn it. So you're still going to find your little bit of a path there. But once you pair all three, you see giant leaps. And that's when I was finally willing to put the work in on my mindset on a day-to-day basis, where my relationship with my wife, my kids, as a business owner, all across the board got better. When you pair that with rewarding yourself for achieving goals and putting in hard work and finding the path to get there, you really become an unstoppable force of confidence, positivity, effort, and what that's all going to build is consistent momentum that starts snowballing and getting faster and faster, to the point where you won't need other people to help you stay focused and motivated, because you learn the way that works for you and you give yourself the fuel you need to consistently keep growing. Just a thought I had, and the reason why sometimes I maybe am not just out enjoying these cars all the time, or doing the stuff that I think would be so fun to just go do. It's because I'm pushing myself to grow and be better, and I don't just never do those things, but I use them as the reward system that I talked about in the last video, to get me to push and grow and do more, so I can start enjoying more and bigger and better of those rewards instead of small little ones. So for me, I'd rather make short-term sacrifices for long-term gains than long-term sacrifices for short-term gain. But that's all I got for you. I'll see you on the next one.